Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for checking out how to film skateboarding. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how to shoot with the fisheye. So the first thing that you need to realize while shooting fisheye is that you got to get really close. Sometimes it's uncomfortably close, and I'm going to have to admit and tell you, it's pretty dangerous sometimes. So you really have to be really aware of, one, what trick they're trying and how the board might spin out and hit you. And two, just how to capture the angle the best way. I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks about how to do that the best way. Alright, a big thing for a lot of people shooting fisheye is trying to find the right lens. And since a lot of people are shooting with DSLRs now, and you know, there's so many lenses out there, I'm going to go over a couple lenses that I really like. There's a really good Sigma that's an 8mm, but it's like around $900, which is pretty much almost expensive as your camera if you're shooting with any of the Canon TI series. Or my favorite lens is the Canon 8-15, which is the camera the lens I'm going to be using to demonstrate some of my techniques. But that lens is almost $2,000, so that's pretty much out of everyone's price range. I know a lot of people like to use the Rokinon, which is it's a pretty good lens, but it's not really too wide, and you know, you're going to want to try and get the widest lens possible. I used to shoot with an Optica 6.5, but it's not a true 6.5. It's more like a 9 or a 10. So my biggest advice when choosing a lens to shoot with is type in the name of the lens into YouTube, and then a lot of footage will start to come up for each lens, and you can kind of go through and pick which one you like the best. For everyone out there who shoots with the VX1000, it's pretty obvious what lens you need to get. You can mess around and try and shoot with some other stuff, but pretty much you're just going to want to get the old good Century optics. And if you're lucky enough to have a VX1000 with that lens, count your blessings, because it's one of the best cameras ever and still is. And there's die-hard people who will only shoot with that camera and love it. And I don't knock them, man. I love it too. I've always loved the VX1000. I always will. But I do want to talk to you guys about the difference between 4x3 fisheye and 16x9 fisheye. 4x3 fisheye is almost a perfect square, so you have the equal amount of space on both sides so that you can get ultra close on pretty much everything. 16x9 is really wide horizontally, but it's almost cut in half compared to 4x3. That's why when you shoot with a DSLR or an HD camera, it's a lot harder to get a good angle, to make it so that your skater's going fast and you can also see everything at the same time. So that's why getting one of the wider fisheyes it's very important, and I think you should just go in it and just buy one of the better fisheyes if you're really trying to take it real serious, you know. Alright, so since my VX1000, I've always tried to lean towards finding a camera that has a flip out screen. Especially for fisheye shots, it really helps a lot. When you're shooting someone, you're shooting down low and you can't see your screen when it's on the back of your camera, so you're able to put it where you need it to go. I really do miss shooting with my Canon 60D, but I gave it to my girlfriend. She pretty much uses it for everything now. But yeah, definitely I would say try and get a camera that has a flip out screen. It really does help a lot, and it will help you figure out angles, and then you won't get hit in the head trying to get down and get low and try and to figure out what's on there, and it'll cut your learning time in half. Alright guys, so I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks of how to shoot with my Sony FS700 with my Canon 8-15 fisheye. It's my favorite fisheye, especially for DSLRs out there. But I'm just going to kind of show you guys kind of a good distance to be, and just kind of how to angle your camera. Alright, so as I said before, the distance you are from your skater, it's pretty close. Especially if you have a fisheye as wide as this, you're probably going to want to be within a foot to 2 feet away. If you're any further away from that, you're too far. And if you're any closer, you can get closer, but you probably will chop their head. Just make sure you try and hold the camera with both hands so that when you're panning with them, it's really smooth. Or unless you have a VX1000, you're a lucky little dude or whoever, and you can hold it with one hand and you're very hyped. A huge tip too you always want to realize when you're shooting fisheye is you always want the camera to be angled up. You never just want it to be pointed straight at them, but always kind of angled up really low and just tilted up. It really will make a huge difference in your fisheye shooting, and if you start doing that right away, you'll learn way faster. Alright, definitely rolling with them fisheye is really tough, and I'm going to go more in depth of some techniques and stuff to help you with when we talk about filming runs, which is another video. But for this, You definitely should just start off trying to film just single tricks fisheye before you start to jump into doing runs fisheye. So, all right, so right there I demonstrated how sometimes when you're filming something fisheye, you should kind of tilt it up just pretty much as quick as they're in the air. So like when they pop, you tilt up, then you tilt back down. But you gotta be really careful not to go too high because you'll lose the board. Definitely just tilt, and it basically takes the same time as the trick. Just try and do it as smooth as possible. It really does look a lot better. A big thing for shooting with the fisheye is that it's very stylized and no two fisheye people shoot the same. So definitely try and just have fun with it. Practice a lot, especially when it comes to shooting lines, because you're skating and you're filming at the same time. Just learning how to skate's hard. And then also stay focused on a camera and a skater. There's so much multitasking going on that you don't realize it till you start to do it. When you're first starting to shoot fisheye, do a ton of it. Just have a lot of fun with it. Figure out what you like, figure out what looks good, and don't be afraid to try new things. Alright guys, thanks a lot for checking out how to shoot fisheye. Make sure you tune in next week for how to shoot long lens, and I hope this helped, and I hope to see some dope angles coming soon.